Hi guys, Alistair Taylor down at Lytham Golf Academy, and today we're going to do a little experiment to show what difference shaft flex really makes to your tee shots. So we're going to use TaylorMade M2 driver head, 9.5 degrees, and I've got Curricage silver shafts in regular, stiff and extra stiff. So I'm going to hit 5 balls on GC Quad, real balls, closed data. We're going to look at some numbers from the ball, but we're also going to look at, does it change strike on the club face or change how I'm able to deliver the club? Now, I have done videos in the past, but I'm not going to get too much into those for now. But like I said, we're going to hit 5 real balls, start with reg, then stiff, then X, look at numbers, and then I'll talk you through my opinion on obviously why you need to get fitted for the correct flex, but kind of what might change in order with the different shafts in your hand. So like I said, let's go reg first. So I'm going to set the head just at 9.5, so neutral. I am working a little bit on my golf swing at the moment, so not saying I'm going to be exactly the same every time I deliver the club, but I'd expect to be reasonably consistent. So expecting these to feel similar but different, just because of the flexes. So like I said, 5 real balls. I'll pop some ball speed up on the video as well, just so you can see driver by driver how the ball speed might change. Okay, so first one. Okay, so didn't feel great, if I'm being honest. I think strike was a little bit low on the face. Then kind of didn't really feel I could tell where the club head was as I was swinging then. But shot number 2. So a higher flight. And just higher strike on the club face. But I will show some strike patterns as well, but it'll be kind of for all the shots with the driver. Shot 3. Again, okay. Personally, not loving the feel of the shaft. And I know that's a very subjective comment, but for me personally, when I'm getting fitted, yes, I'm looking at numbers, but I need to have something that when I swing, I think feels like I know where the club is. And I would just say initially with this, I just don't feel I know where the club head is. But last couple with the regular flex. Again, that felt better, but it does feel quite soft. So probably the nearest to the centre of the club I've had so far. And let's go one final one with the regular flex. So I think they'd have all been okay. But I'm going to just get, and I'll talk through it after each one. So let me just get some quick pictures for us to use. Okay guys, so if we look at the ball data from the regular, ball speed of 154, so slightly down. Launch angle was really inconsistent from 7.5 to 15, so an average of 11 would be a little bit low. Backspin of 2,800, I mean, didn't really get anything low there, 2,500 up to 3.1. Average height 30, but again all over the place, 26 yard peak height to 22. Average carry of 251, shortest at 235, best at 258. So very erratic with ball numbers. Okay, so we can see certainly on the last one, path and club face fairly neutral. I'm pretty much like that at the moment, hitting up on the ball, but certainly when you look in the bottom right corner, the strike, even though they're around the centre, they're very spread from high toe down to low heel. So for me, too much inconsistency there. And certainly if we look at the club data overall, you know, club head speed 110 is about right for me. Club efficiency is down. We saw that with the contact point on the face, that wasn't great. Hitting up 2.9 degrees. Like I said, club and path very neutral at 0.2 to the right and half a degree closed. Certainly for me there though, you know, that strike, average 2mm towards the toe, but very, very spread. Just too much inconsistency with the regular shaft. Okay guys, so we saw with regular, it was okay. But for me, even though a lot of how I swung the club was fairly consistent to normal, probably the ball strike or the contact point with the face really affected kind of the performance, and that would be quite a way back for where I would normally be looking for. So we're going to take the regular shaft out, put the stiff in, go through the same process, again give you some feedback and see kind of stiff better or worse for me than the regular shaft was. So get that screwed on. That's good to go. So like we said, I might be expecting this one to feel better. This is certainly a shaft I have used in the past. Off we go. So certainly felt more solid. And again, I don't necessarily think that was fantastic. You know, I could argue that maybe the M2 head might not be the perfect one for me, but I wanted something with a little bit of forgiveness if the strike wasn't quite there. So again, shot number 2. And yeah, definitely just feels like I know where the club head is a little bit more with this one. And as a result of that, I feel that I'm not necessarily swinging the club any differently, but maybe just feel there's a little bit more consistency with the shots. That one's going to get away already. Okay, so shot number 3. Again, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough one, and I think you might see slightly different results day to day, but straight away I feel like I'm able to get the club head in a more consistent position with this shaft. Hopefully the next shaft will be even more consistent because that's what's currently in my bag. I just felt a little bit low off the face, but not dreadful. And let's go one final one with the stiff shaft. Definitely feels more to my liking, you know. Like I said, I've used it in the past, so it's not something that is unusual for me. But let's look at the numbers again and see how the stiff shaft kind of works out for us. Okay, so we look at ball speed at 153. More consistent though, 152 to 155. I think if we look at launch angle, 12.1, so generally not bad. Just shot number 9 there was a little lower off the face. Interestingly, spin, 3,000 as my average. Peak height, 35 yards. And carry distance, only 251. So again, we look at the club, you know, very neutral with path and face, hitting up again. Again, the strikes maybe just fractionally low on the face where I would like to hit them, but the grouping was a little bit tighter with stiff than we saw with regular, and we saw that with the ball delivering some slightly more consistent numbers. Club data, 109 mile an hour, so ball speed very similar. Again, club efficiency just down slightly, so certainly showing I'm not hitting it out of the best part of the club face to get full speed out of there. Everything else, you know, just much more consistent as we went from reg to stiff. Right guys, so what did we see? As we went reg to stiff, we probably saw a little bit more consistency in the strike. Didn't necessarily see loads more performance out of it, but I kind of felt like I knew where the ball was going a little bit more because of that consistency of strike. So we're going to take the stiff shaft out and put the extra stiff in. Now, like I said, hopefully this will be the better shaft because this is actually the one that's in my current driver. But like I said, I think I'm on M1 currently, and I just felt for this test that M2 being a bit more forgiving with the little bit of swing work I'm doing might show up slightly more consistent results. So try not to trap your glove in the head and the shaft when you're doing it. Okay, so again, M2 9.5 Curacage Silver X Flex. Last 5 shots, real balls, GC quad, and let's see how Extra Stiff performs and feels. So probably felt the best out of the lot strike-wise. And it was right out the middle. Personally, I'd like to just hit it just a touch higher on the face if I could do. Didn't feel perfect by any means. Just very, very slightly towards the heel. Again, I have to say I'm pleased with the little bit of swing work I'm doing. It's obviously making me a bit more neutral and helping me hit the ball a little bit straighter. If I can just get this ball to stay on the tee, that'll be perfect. Fell a little bit towards the toe, but a decent result. Yeah, a tiny bit. And last couple. And again, I mean, the difference I felt from reg to stiff being a bit more solid and kind of knowing where the club was. I think it just is the same again, going from stiff to extra stiff. Don't feel I get the ball shaping quite as much right to left with the extra stiff either. And one final one. And let's have a look how extra stiff performs. A good solid one to finish. Yeah, so let's look at some numbers. M2 9.5 extra stiff flex. So if we look at ball data, so 155 is my average ball speed, so that's been the quickest out of the 3 shafts. Launching at 11.2, and I think my consistency level there was much tighter. 2,700 spin, so still marginally higher than I would want, but again, very consistent numbers around there. 32 yard peak height, again, highest 35, lowest 29. I'm pitching 256, so not my longest by any means, more down to the spin being a bit high, but really, really consistent when you look at 253 to 257 being the spread. So again, you look at the delivery of the club, very neutral path and face. Again, hitting up on the ball. Again, just fractionally low with the strike, but again, much more kind of grouped around the centre. So certainly as the shafts have got stiffer, we've probably seen a tighter grouping from there. And as we move on to the club data, 109 mile an hour club head speed, so very consistent through the shafts. Club efficiency 1.41, so kind of roundabout again where I have been with the other shafts, but then slightly lower spin with the stiffer shaft. Okay guys, so what conclusions do I draw from trying regular, stiff and extra stiff? Is if I look at performance, they were very, very similar with club head speed, ball speed, spin. Certainly what I've found, and I've found this with my videos in the past, is as I go a little bit stiffer with the shaft, probably the consistency of my strike just tightens up a little bit, which is then going to reflect in kind of more consistent spin numbers. And I think with all of them, if I could have hit the ball a little higher on the face, my spin would have been lower. But I kind of found it easier with extra stiff to kind of get closer to the part of the club. I was trying to strike the ball consistently, and certainly round about my club head speed, round about 109, 110. I'm kind of borderline between stiff and X. So that for me would definitely be where there'd be a bit of input if I was fitting somebody with there about how the shaft felt during the swing, and did it feel that I was able to feel where the club was more to be able to get the club back on the ball. Like I said, I definitely feel that with X Flex. Certainly I think sometimes when shafts are completely wrong for guys, you do see big alterations in how they deliver the club. because they're trying to compensate for a feeling in their golf swing. But as fine as the margins were today, it shows that if you're buying a new driver, you do need to make sure that you get set completely and fitted properly for what works best for you. If you're spending a lot of money on new product, which some of the stuff's not cheap, you know, you want to make sure you get the absolute best performing driver that you can, not just on your good swings, but as an average to help you hit the best shots you can. Now, certainly for me, I know the M1 head spins it a bit lower for me, which I would still expect similar results going through there, but it did make a difference, different shaft flex, but maybe not as big a difference as some of you may be led to believe. You know, people are often told that a more soft flex shaft will make you swing quicker. I had 1 mile an hour difference, but if you looked at 109 and 110, I was pretty much there with every club. Is it more difficult to know where the ball's going? Maybe, but is that maybe more down to strike rather than the club face being in massive different positions? I think with me it would be down to strike. I think if your club face is in very different positions, you might see that with every shaft. So guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like and share it. Follow me on all the social media platforms. Subscribe to my channel if you don't already. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here in the future. Stay in contact.